You think about moving to Seattle, Washington, but you're not quite sure where to move to, and you're starting to consider different suburbs around Seattle, probably on the east side. Well, in today's video, I'm gonna get into why I chose to live where I'm living. And if you've already read the title of this video, you know it's not a surprise. I decided to move out of Seattle and move to Renton, Washington. So why do I choose to live in Renton, Washington? Is Renton, Washington the same place as it was years ago when I grew up originally in Bellevue, Washington? Well, we're gonna get into some of those reasons and talk about, am I gonna live here forever? So we're gonna get into that, but before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't miss a market update. I put out videos every single week about the different suburbs around Seattle so that you can get to know the different areas. So if you're considering a move to the Seattle area, you are well informed from someone who's lived here for over 35 years. So I am a local realtor, Kelsey Anderson. And so if you would like to get in contact with me, go ahead and hit me a text message, hit me up on the phone, whatever is best for you. Send me an email. All my information is in that description below. I get reach outs all the time from people just like you looking to make their move over here. I will say I get a lot of people asking me to help them find an apartment in this area because, look, I get it. It is super duper expensive, honestly, to live anywhere, but especially Seattle, one of the most expensive metropolitan cities in the US right now. However, if you are thinking about renting, unless you're thinking about buying in the next year, you're just going to want to contact property managers. So I just wanted to throw that out there just because I do get that question a lot. So without further ado, where is Renton? So I wanted to show you where Renton is, and we're now in my computer so that you can see a little bit more clearly. So you can see Renton here highlighted in red. It is southeast of Seattle. I definitely recommend checking out my Renton vlog so you can get to know this kind of on a different scale of where I'm going into today, but a lot of the information is going to be covered as well today. So if you are in Seattle, you're commuting from Seattle or Bellevue, you're gonna take I-5 going south here, and you can connect to Renton on the south side. And then from Seattle, you can go east over I-90 and then south on 405. So you're either gonna take 405 south from 90 or I-5 south from Seattle to get over here. Renton is 14 miles southeast of Seattle and just 5 miles south of Bellevue. As far as commute times, I can get into Bellevue in about 10-15 minutes. If I want to go into downtown, that's going to take me closer to 18 to 20 minutes. Of course, that's going to be slowed down if you're moving during traffic times, but that's going to be everywhere in this metropolitan area. If I want to get into Seattle from Renton, it's only going to take me 20 to 25 minutes depending on where I'm going. Of course, if I'm going to North Seattle, it's going to take me probably 30 minutes. If I'm going all the way up to like Green Lake or Ballard or Fremont, Golden Gardens up north, things like that. So really close to both Bellevue and Seattle. Now let's learn more. You've checked out other videos on Renton. I've already talked about the pros and cons of living in Renton. I'm not going to go into that today. This video's purpose is to solely focus on why I am choosing to live in Renton and then thinking about, am I going to stay here forever? So these reasons are not really in a particular order, but number one reason that I live in Renton is definitely the cost of living. So when I think about neighboring cities around Renton, so we've got Newcastle just directly north of us. That's median home price is $1.4 million. You go up to Bellevue, very similar. Now, if you go directly east of us, you've got Issaquah, Washington, and homes over there are going to be $1 million median home price as well. So, of course, if you go south of Renton, you're going to see the median home prices above where we're at here, but that's going to be associated with some things I'm not as big of a fan of. So further into the city, little higher crime rate, not as great schools, things like that. So when I think about Renton, hey, the median home price here is only $740,000. Now, I say the word only, which is kind of silly because $740,000 is still a lot of money. But when I think about where I'm located here in Renton, I'm at $740,000 median home price compared to these places that are just 10 minutes away from me. Newcastle is probably a 3-minute drive north of my house. okay? But I'm not paying prices anywhere close to what it would cost in Newcastle. And guess what? Newcastle schools are going to be the same as North Renton schools. It's all a part of the Renton school district. And so the cost of living here is super advantageous because it's a Renton address, but I really still get to have the same proximity to things as Newcastle to the north and Issaquah to the east. I was able to snag a home a couple years ago for less than $900,000, a 4-bedroom house, because I got a lot of kids, and that would just not be able, that would not be feasible in these other suburbs I just mentioned in order to have the same commute that I have. So we'll get into that in a moment, but when I think about when I'm doing work in Bellevue or Seattle, we're talking 15 to 20 minute drive max, but I get those better home prices, that lower median home price living here in Renton. So I can get to what I need very quickly with a better price point. My second reason for living in Renton, Washington is the proximity to the things that I love and need to do. So if you are like me and you are considering a move to Seattle because of just the picturesque landscape that Seattle is known for up here in the Pacific Northwest, well, then you're going to want to have fun and outdoor recreation really close by. You're not going to want to have to travel, to get to water and to mountains and things like that. So I love that living in Renton, I'm close to everything I need. So I'm super close to entertainment, right? All the restaurants and lounges and performances and concerts and sports, all those things are located in either Bellevue or Seattle. Again, within a 15 to 20 minute drive, I can be in both of those places. 25-minute drive, I can get up into Redmond or Kirkland, which are two of the other main places where I'm gonna go to my events, things like different races and different, wine events, meeting friends for coffee or drinks or food, or wanna jump in someone's boat along the Kirkland waterfront. Those places are very close to me, okay? I've got the airport within a 10-minute drive without traffic, of course. 405 can get backed up, but I can get to the airport very quickly. And of course, people are gonna take advantage of that. I definitely have my share of rides to and from the airport because I'm close, but that's super handy. I'm only 5 minutes from getting onto 405, which goes all the way down into SeaTac and then all the way up north through Bellevue, through Kirkland, and up north through kind of the Woodinville and Bothell area, connecting up to I-5 on the north side of Seattle. So 405, within 5 minutes, I can connect to 90, which goes from T-Mobile Field in downtown Seattle all the way to Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, I'm 10 minutes from that freeway right in Bellevue, just north of Newcastle, which is just north of Renton. So super close to the freeways. I'm also extremely close to lakes, and not just little lakes where you can take your, paddleboard, but big lakes where people that I know have, motorboats and that do skiing on the back of their boats and, go on big cruises through the major lakes around the Seattle area. You can put your boat in. So living within 10-15 minutes of Lake Sammamish and then also Lake Washington, I can get to some beaches along Lake Washington within an 8-minute drive of my house. So that's a huge plus. If I want to go over to the ocean, okay, want to go to, stay in a hotel at Ocean Shores over on the coast of Washington, that's going to be a 2.5-hour drive. If I want to go into the mountains, if I want to go to Crystal Ski Resort or Snoqualmie Ski Resort, these places are only within 45 minutes of my house. So skiing, snowboarding, tubing down the mountain, very close. Okay, if I want to go hiking or camping, we have spots for that just 30 minutes east of us, 45 minutes if you want to go into North Bend or the Snoqualmie area. It's very close. Okay, hikes. I've got hikes. There's hikes that are starting in Newcastle, which again is just neighboring us here in Renton, or in Issaquah. The Issaquah Alps has hundreds of trails in Tiger and Cougar Mountain. These are the foothills of the Cascade Mountains, and there's tons of hikes, miles and miles more than I could ever do within a 15-minute drive of my house. But I'm not having to live in a rural city to get to that. I don't need to live close to Mount Rainier, right? I'm in the metropolitan area. I just get to take advantage of these things located really close. Another one of my favorite things to do is enjoy the Snoqualmie River, which is just located over in sort of to the east of us, over near Snoqualmie and Falls City, that area. It's going to also go up north, but this is a really fun river to float down. Again, only a 30-minute drive, but I don't have to live near it or worry about it flooding on a daily basis. The third reason for me for choosing to live here is the fun located right here in Renton. So I just mentioned a lot of the fun that's close by, the proximity, the location of Renton being close to by these things, but what is in Renton that is really handy? So a few things. So number one, Coulon Beach Park is going to be a major park over like 650 acres. And that's located right on the south tip of Lake Washington. You've got some restaurants like Kid Valley, just right there on the water. That's a major park. So my kids love to go play there. There's tennis courts, volleyball courts, places just kind of gather with your family, have kind of a picnic, huge major new play structures, things like that, as well as trails. If you're a runner and you kind of want to run along Lake Washington, there's some trails that start over in Coulon Park. So that's huge. And then on a little bit, just right next to Coulon Park, I should say, on the south tip of Lake Washington, so really just down the street from Coulon Park, you've got the new Southport area. And so brand new apartments and businesses have gone into this part. It is absolutely beautiful. Dock and Drink is a super fun restaurant right on the water. It's right next to where some Boeing planes have their final construction phase. Just a really beautiful spot to be along the water. You can actually pull up your boat and hop to the shore and get a bite to eat. But that's really fun. And then right in from there, and again, this is only 10 minutes within my house, from my house, you've got the Landing. And so Landing is going to have a lot of your restaurants, your big movie theaters, some big department stores like Target and Cost Plus World Market. So that's fun, and the restaurants that are in that spot. And then further, just down the street about 2 minutes, you've got a brand new Top Golf. This isn't virtual Top Golf, it's actual Top Golf, where there's like, TVs in every bay, and they bring out food and drinks, and you can, tee off with your friends in a really fancy driving range. So those are some fun things. About 5 minutes from there, maybe 5 to 7 minutes from there, you've got Henry Moses. This is a really fun little mini water park. My kids love going here, and it's just nice not to have to go all the way to Puyallup Federal Way to hit up Wild Waves or, Idaho for Silverwood. You've got a little mini park, a water park right in Renton. There's also just tons of outdoor spaces and parks. Really, in the neighborhood I live in, there are parks, but then just throughout the entire city, they're continuing to make brand new public parks that allow for, biking around, scootering around, and then play structures for the kids as well. So those are my top 3 reasons for living here in Renton, Washington. One of the reasons I left the city and came out here was because of my family, but will I stay here forever? I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is a great place to raise a family. Like I said, you can get a cheaper house here as compared to some of the homes located in the suburbs just around Renton. So that's a huge plus. I love the proximity. However, it is kind of a more residential town. There's not a ton of major businesses. I do have to leave Renton to go to Costco or find, major shopping malls, things like that. So I might move out eventually, maybe when the kids aren't little anymore, just so that I can be closer to water views, which are plentiful in many areas because we have so many lakes around here. I want to move closer to the water, maybe have some more wineries and just sort of open spaces around, just because, again, like I said, this is more of a residential area. So Renton is filled with, small businesses, restaurants, things like that, and lots of housing development. So that's probably not going to be my jam forever. But as far as raising a family in Renton. I give it 2 thumbs up. I wouldn't be here with my family if I couldn't give you that full endorsement. So of course, I would love for you to check out some of my other videos because I go into detail about all the suburbs really to the east of Seattle, and there are some lovely ones. Of course, they are going to come with a steeper price tag mostly than Renton, but that's going to be up to your family and kind of what you can afford. So I hope you got some value from this video learning about why me and my family chose Renton, but every family is a little bit different. So if you'd like to learn more about the area, like I said, check out my other videos, and I would love to hop on a call or a Zoom to get to know what your family is looking for if you're considering a move over to the Seattle area. I hope you have a fantastic day. See you later.